Hello, hello. I think it's working. Facebook keep changing things. Every time I go live, it is very, very annoying. It's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. How you all going? Just going to double check it is working on my phone, so give me a moment. I think a couple of minutes late. I was trying to find something. I was trying to find where to type the description because it wouldn't let me do that until I went live, and they keep changing the place. So if you are here watching, pop in a comment and say hello. Then I know at least someone's watching. And it is somewhat working. Where am I going? On my phone. Apologise. And I just want to make sure the volume is right. Just going to double check it is working on my phone. Yep, it is working on my phone. So beautiful. So it looks like we've got a few people watching, so that's good. That means it's somewhat working. That's not what I want to do. So welcome to our, what month are we in? No idea. July. We're in July. Um, Hi Jackie. Hi Susan. Oh, hi Shelley and Susan. What month are we in? We're in July. Half the day. I don't know what day of the week it is lately. Oh, it's been a busy time, and my phone is playing up. I want to. Nah, I'll stop playing with that. I can sort of um, see on the computer. Hi Belinda and Lil. So today we are going to attempt an art journal page like this. I say attempt because every time I try to duplicate something, it looks a little bit different. I wax some more ink places or I do it a bit darker, so it's going to have this general concept. So this class is using paper napkins. So the beautiful butterfly wings are paper napkins, and I'm going to show you two different. Hi, another Susan. We've got Susan's. Oh no, same Susan. Going to show you two different techniques of using napkins. My daughter sells paper napkins on our website, so we have quite a few. I'm not going to admit how many, but it's quite a few. On our website in all different varieties of patterns, flowers, butterflies, people, cats, dogs, birds, you name it, it's probably on our website. So I love using paper napkins. They're quite affordable. They start pack of two for 75 cents, depending on what design they are. Can't remember what these are priced at, but they're around, could be $1 for a pack of two, so quite reasonably priced. So they are quite affordable, and you can get loads of different designs in them, and they're just fun to play with. Um, So we've got more people coming in. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with our paper napkins first, and then we'll go on with our art journal page. So these were two new techniques I haven't done before myself. Whether they're new to you, we're probably going to find out. So napkins are quite translucent, and I wanted to play with that property of the napkin. So let me get my... Is it going to work? I need a bit of scrap paper, which I didn't grab. Just give me 2 seconds. There it is. My camera does not like the shininess of my glass mat. Let's get our art journal page out of here for a moment. Let's talk paper napkins. So when you purchase them, either from me, down the street, wherever, napkins come... Have I got one that I haven't attacked? So napkins come in, if you've never heard of a paper napkin before, they come folded in a set of 4, mostly. So if you purchase a packet of napkins, you get actually 8 butterfly designs to play with. We sell them in a pack of 2 because I say one is to goof up and one is to use. You can also get ones that are these rectangle ones. These rectangle ones aren't as popular here in Australia. They're called lunchkin napkins, but we get a lot of the square ones. So when you purchase the napkins, you obviously get them in a group of 4. So what we want to do is we want to cut one butterfly out. And I'm just going to grab some scissors. I'm going to leave, there's a white backing. So when you purchase a napkin, you have a coloured front piece of paper, piece of napkin. Then you have a white back layer or 2 white back layers. So leave them all together at the moment. We are just going to cut between the fold because I want to isolate one quarter of the napkin. Leaving the white backing on when you're cutting it. I'm just cutting where the folds are, which makes it simple. At the moment, it's easy to cut it when it's got the white backings on it. Oh, come on, scissors. So now we have, well, that one's still stuck together. We have 2, 3, 4 napkins. So we're going to grab one single napkin, put the other 3 butterflies aside. So I forgot to say, you can, I forget to say stuff, you can purchase a complete kit for this class from my website, Scrapbooking same as the Facebook page name that you're on. So in the class kit, you get a pink napkin, so you get 4 pink butterflies and you get 4 of this bluey orangey colour. Or all the items that we use in the classroom, my store, are listed on the website under where you can buy the class kit. So you go, oh, I've got something similar at home, I just want a couple of pieces. You can buy just a couple of pieces from the kit too. So let's get that out of there. You save a couple of dollars. I think you save $5 or $6 if you buy the whole kit. And caboodle. Whoops. Sorry, my chair leg and my tripod leg are not wanting to function together. Okay, so I've got one napkin. So now what we need to do is we actually need to take the white backing off. So the best trick to do that with is sticky tape. I'll take a little bit of sticky tape. The sticky side is going to be stuck to the white backing of the napkin on any part of it. Just give it a good press down on the white bit of the napkin. Flip it over so our coloured side is up, and then we should be able to grab our tape, and look, that napkin's just going to fall apart. Now some of them fall apart really easily. Some of them are a bit more challenging. So we peel the white bit off. Sometimes I keep the white bits. I've got oodles of them at the moment, so I don't. And then we're down to one layer of napkin. So this napkin is ready to use. If you want to check to see if there's a second layer on it, grab something with, I'm just seeing what I can grab. This will do. Grab something with black text on it. If you put the napkin over it, you should be able to just see, or just be able to read the text through it. If it's a bit more cloudy, if it's a bit more, I'm going to double the napkin over. See how you can't almost see that? This is a good test to see if you have the second white backing on your napkin. So we're going to show you 2 techniques today, and you can use either one in your art journal. They give you slightly different results. So the first technique we're going to actually do is glue our napkin onto a piece of acetate, clear plastic. So like an overhead projector, clear bit of acetate. You could have acetate off packaging. So we are going to, this is one I glued on previously. So this is what it's going to look like. The other one we're going to do is we're going to laminate some napkins. Yeah, so if you've got a laminator, you might want to go grab it. So what we're going to do first is, this one takes a long time to dry, this acetate. So this will take, I would probably leave it overnight, because you can't really bring your heat tool near the plastic acetate because you may melt it. So let's not do that. So let's not melt it. So what I'm going to do is just cut my acetate slightly bigger than my napkin. I'm going to cut this big bit off here because then I will use it for something else and I will not slop glue all over it. Throw that back in my box. Hi Bev, how you going? So we've got our, it's probably going to be really hard to see because it's clear, but you can sort of see the shininess of it. So we put our acetate down. When we glue napkins down, I've got napkins everywhere now, let's put those in there. When we glue napkins down, we want a really thin adhesive. So the best one to use, I'm trying to find mine, is a product called Matte Medium. So you can hear that it's really, really liquidy. Very, very runny. Let's put it that way. Hi Erin, how you going? So there's different ones. So this is called Matte Medium, and you can hear it's really liquidy, very thin in consistency. This one's called Heavy Gel Medium or Gel Medium, and it's a lot thicker, and it's almost like margarine, or whipped cream. It's a lot thicker. So you want the thin one. You could use Mod Podge. The problem I find with Mod Podge, it's a bit tacky when it dries. Unfortunately, this is a Kmart brand. They don't make it anymore. But Montmark make a really good one. Liquitex make a really good one, but it is a bit pricey. So if you get a hold of Montmark one, it's an Australian art company. They are really, really good for the matte medium. Okay, so what we're going to do, when we glue napkins down, regardless of whether we're gluing it onto acetate or whether we're gluing it straight onto our art journal page, same technique. We put a big blob. Hi Leslie, how you going? Welcome to everyone that's coming in. We haven't missed much so far. So we're going to show you 2 different ways to use your napkins, and then we're going to get into the art journal page. So we're going to put a big blob of the matte medium, and it is white, but trust me, it'll dry clear. So So we just want to be quite generous with putting it over the acetate. And I don't need to cut my butterfly down or cut any of the white stuff off. I'll cut all that off later. It's sometimes easier to glue a napkin on bigger than try to deal with a small bit. So you can see the glue is all over that. Now, this is the tricky bit. When you place your napkin on top, do not move it. When the napkin gets glue on it, it gets quite fragile. So we're just going to gently place it on top. Throw some more matte medium on top. From the center, we're going to be very gentle. And you'll see the change in colour. So at the moment, you can see this bit's white where my finger is. This bit's going translucent. So you're going to start in the middle and sort of gently brush out. The reason we go from the middle brushing out, we can brush out any air bubbles. You want to make sure your brush is quite wet and it doesn't get dry. So be quite generous on the top. You don't particularly want to go over and over in the one spot because the risk of tearing your napkin is quite high. This technique will also work with rice paper, collage paper, tissue paper, any of those thin translucency, oh God, where are my words today? Translucent type papers. So I'm being very careful. I'm almost barely touching the napkin, working from the inside out. You do not want to leave any huge blobs of your matte medium on your butterfly, so just get rid of any huge blobs of the white matte medium. But that is looking really, really nice. Hi, Jane. That's all right. You can come in a bit late. You can always watch this on replay too. So this will, once I finish being live, I don't know, 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours. I don't know how long it's going to take today. It takes as long as it takes when you art journal. And it will be available on Facebook on a replay. So if you are watching this and you decide to buy the kit, you can then replay the video, stop and start it, mute me as people say because I talk too much, and follow along with the class. So I'm happy with that. I don't have any big blobs of matte medium on my page. So this has to dry for probably 3 to 4 hours. It's the last element we put on our page. So you don't have to worry about trying to dry it with a heat tool or anything like that. So put it somewhere safe. I'm looking for a safe spot to throw it. Over here. So I do not put anything wet on top of it or anything on top of it. Okay. Now let's show you the other technique. Let me bring in my trusty, very, very cheapo laminator from, I don't know where it's come from, J. Burrows Officeworks. So very, very cheap laminator. Let's turn it on. We're going to turn it on to our hot mode. While I'm chatting, it can heat up. Let's just shove it over there. So it doesn't have to be an expensive laminator. We do need a laminating pouch or a laminating sheet. These ones are A4 size. Let me grab just my pile of bits out of here. What do I need? I don't need that. I'm going to use, that's my other one. Bear with me a minute. I'm going to use, which one have I cut into? That one I've cut into. Okay. So, when we laminate napkins, so traditionally when you laminate something, if I put something inside the laminating sheet, let's just grab this napkin for example. Jackie, yes. So the video will go up on YouTube. After I finish the live, I go and download the video from Facebook, because Facebook has a now lovely policy that after 30 days all lives disappear, which I think is, we won't get into that, not very nice. So I will download it and it will appear on YouTube probably in the next 24 hours. It takes me a while to download it. It takes me a while to edit the file. I like to put a completed picture of the thing in, make sure it's all working. So in about 24 hours it'll be up on YouTube. And I'll also link it back to the Facebook page as well. So there is a lot. So the YouTube channel is the same, Scrapbooking under my business name. If you scroll back to last month's class, there'll be a YouTube link if you need to find it quickly, the YouTube channel. I can smell that is heating up because it's smelling, as laminators do. Okay, so traditionally when you laminate something, you're putting plastic on both sides of whatever you shove inside your laminating thing. What we want to do is we want to actually only have the laminate on one side. So this is one of the butterflies we laminated. So butterfly napkin. So it has a shiny surface on one side and it has like a vellum look on the other side. So this almost looks like a piece of vellum you could use in your crafting. So you get a muted or a dulled, muted view of the design. So you can decide if you want to have shiny or dull, or this is what the acetate looks like. You get sort of the dull side, but it's more bright. So you basically sort of can take your one napkin, they're different colours, but get 3 different looks for it. Okay, so the way we get laminate on one side is we have to build a sandwich. So we prepare our napkins. That's one I've done earlier. Prepare our napkins. Where did I throw those? Up here. So let's do this butterfly. Have I got one? Yep, there's one that I cut off, 1/4 of the butterfly. So we are going to use that one. Now, you don't have to take the white backing off. It doesn't matter for the laminating step. So it doesn't matter if you take the white backing off or you don't. It'll come off at some stage. So because this laminating sheet is an A4 sheet, I didn't want to waste my bit of laminate down here. So I grabbed a different napkin and I grabbed this bluey, sea, earthy one just to put something on the bottom of the laminating sheet. So I'm just going to cut that one down. So what you need is you need 2 butterflies. What is Melinda doing? She doesn't know how many butterflies she needs. I'm looking for another one. Let's do a pink and let's do a pink and a blue and purple one. So you need 2 butterflies and you need 2 panels of whatever other napkin you want to stick on the bottom to save the laminating sheets. So they don't have to be expensive laminating sheets. These are, this pack's been around in my house for God knows how long. Possibly since my daughter was very, very young when I used to laminate stuff for her. And she's turning 18 at the end of the year. So yeah, quite old. But they still work. So I'm just cutting this napkin down into single pieces. I just didn't want to waste the bit of laminate at the bottom. So I need 2 butterflies and 2 extra bits. Now, we are going to build our laminating sandwich. I think our laminate is telling me we're ready to go. So we have our laminating sheet that opens up and it's like connected at one end, so it like opens up. We need 2 pieces of photocopy paper, printer paper, just thin white paper. So we are going to put, see if I can line it up. I'm going to put the 2 pieces. Don't ask me why we need 2 pieces, but that's what the YouTube video said that I was following along when I did this. Possibly to stop the laminate from sticking. So once we've got our 2 pieces inside of printer paper inside our laminate sheet, we take our first butterfly. Doesn't matter if you've taken the white off or not. And we're going to place it so it's going under the first lot of laminating sheet on top of the photocopy paper. So we're going to shove our napkin in there, make sure it doesn't have any wrinkles. Then we're going to take this other bit of napkin. So your napkin, your colourful napkin, is sitting next to the plastic laminate. Does that make sense? So this is your white paper down here and your napkin is coloured side up towards the plastic. So once you've got those 2 positioned, just want to make sure your napkin is inside the paper. So this is one side of the laminate. We're going to carefully flip it over. And we're going to put some more in the back, because we only want the laminate to be on one side of the napkin. So we're going to pop our butterfly in and pop our other bit on the bottom. Again, the coloured side is facing the plastic. So we're going to gently put that down there. Now, we've got napkins on this side. We've got A4 photocopy paper in the middle. And we've got napkins on that side of our laminating sheet. Clear as mud, right? Right, now, this is going to be possibly hot to touch. Okay, this says it is ready to go, so our laminating is on hot. We are going to, does it say which way to put it through? My daughter usually does this for me. I'm assuming it doesn't really matter. No, it says an arrow on it. Let's follow the arrow. Where's my daughter when I need her? She usually does this for me. She likes to laminate. So we're just going to put it in and it will grab it. I just like to hold it at the other end. I'm not forcing it through. I'm just basically supporting it. So the napkins don't really move around. So it takes a couple of minutes and then I can let go when this sort of napkin is grabbed. So we do want to laminate it twice. Why we want to send it through twice, don't ask, but that's what the YouTube video said that I watched. Obviously, just to make sure it probably laminates properly. The first time we did this, it bubbled up a bit, and then the second time we laminated, the bubbles seemed to work themselves out, like the wrinkles in the laminating. Just watch when it comes out, it's hot. So it's nice to do a few of these and have them sitting in your stash so you don't have to get your laminator out every time you want to do one. So that has laminated both sides. Let's send it through again. Find the hole. Come on. There's the slot. Okay, so it can feed itself through this time. While it's doing that, I forgot to grab my paper trimmer. Give me 1 second. I will go grab my paper trimmer off my shelf. I usually forget to get one thing during a live video. It's a paper trimmer this time. So it's working its way through again. So how's everyone's day going? It's wet and cold and rainy here in Victoria. Horrible weekend, but a good weekend for crafting. So you can see how bright and vibrant the napkins are, because they're sitting on the white piece of paper. So they're actually going to be translucent when we finish with them in a minute. Nearly finished. Oi, yay, yay. So if you happen to come to my September retreat this year I don't really want to know how many weeks it is because I've got lots of work to do for it. If you're coming to my September in-person retreat in September, we're going to play with this technique. I'll bring my laminator and my laminating sheet. Sorry, just unplugging my laminator and getting it off my table because we are finished with that. So if you are coming to my September retreat, you will get to have a play with this technique. And I'll bring my laminator along and some pouches and we can have some fun laminating napkins. So this has come out, so it's like a laminated sheet of laminate, like you'd normally get out of a laminator. So we've got plastic on both sides and a bit useless to us as crafters. So what we have to do is grab our paper trimmer. So because you're cutting through 2 layers of plastic and some paper, you want like a rotary paper trimmer, one with a decent blade, not one that has like that tiny little, tiny blade, if that makes sense. And all we want to do is we have to cut, we're cutting just inside the white bit of paper. So the laminate's obviously stuck together here, but where the white paper is, the plastic shouldn't be stuck to each other. So we're going to trim just inside the white piece of photocopy paper. See how I've cut just a little bit of the white and the clear stuff off. So we're going to do that all 4 sides. Come on, paper trimmer, be nice today. This one probably needs a new blade. But it's going to behave and do its job. So I'll throw those over in the bin. So I've done 3 sides, swap around here. Then the magic will happen. So now, if you follow the steps correctly, you should be able to peel them apart. So now we have, excuse me, now we have the white piece of paper on the back, a napkin in the middle, and the acetate on the front. So now we have to cut them down a little more because we need to tear the white backing off. Oh, come on, paper trimmer. Where am I cutting? That's crooked as a dog's hind leg, Melinda. So I'm just wanting to cut on the edge of this blue napkin. And then, look, it becomes a pouch. So you should be able to rip the white paper off, the photocopy paper off, and then the white layer of the napkin will come off as well. Come on, stop being stubborn. Do as you're told. So you can sort of scratch at the corner of it, and I've got the corner there. It's really hard to see. And now I can peel, come on fingers, peel this white layer off. So if you didn't peel your white layer napkin off, it just peels straight off. Sometimes it comes off in all one bit. Sometimes it wants to just peel like that, really. So now we have the finished product. So we've got laminate on the top side of our napkin. and then we can turn it over and we've got like the dull vellum side. So if I just trim off this bit of excess hanging over plastic, I have a beautiful piece of napkin to use. So this would be great in card making and make a nice background. You could use in art journaling, you could use in scrapbooking, any paper craft. So obviously our white paper I'm just going to throw out. Let's get our butterfly out. So basically the butterfly, you just have to cut inside of where the napkin is. That's why I don't like to cut my napkin down first. Let me see if I can line it up. So if you cut just inside the napkin a tiny little bit, means you can open up your pouch like this. Oh, look. The napkin is coming away with the white paper. That's really cool. So I'm just going to, because there's no napkin here, the paper has fused to the plastic. We're going to just cut that off. So you can just tear it. You're not going to tear your coloured napkin. Oh, look, that just comes apart really, really nicely. Get rid of all that paper because I'm going to end up with that much paper on my desk today. That little bit of napkin, backing napkin can come off. That little bit of paper can come off. There is our beautiful butterfly. So this bit is just excess paper, so we can go and trim that off. Let's try to trim it straight because I don't know whether I put my napkin on straight. Doesn't really matter. If you want to use it in a square, trim it up straight. If we are going to cut the wings out, so it really doesn't matter. And I can't cut things straight to save my life, so yeah, just ignore the crookedness of things today. Nope. Let's go in a bit further. Cutting and me just don't go together nicely. We are not friends. My paper trimmer and me. There we go. I always seem to cut in the wrong spot. So now we have, let's get rid of my paper trimmer. Oh. Precursor on a pile. So we have, I haven't undone this one yet, but we have the same thing here. We end up with, so out of one laminating sheet, we end up with 4 pictures. 4 pieces of pretty laminated napkin to use. So in the art journal page today, you can decide to use this. You'll just have a bit of shininess. You can decide to use this, which will be a bit more dull. Or you can decide to use the acetate technique, which is this one here. So you get the dullness, the brightness, but the dullness without the shine. So 3 different looks. Cool. Any questions on the napkins? Or how to, or did it not make sense and I'm talking in a different language? which can happen. So let's grab my art journal. I'm just trying to put all the stuff that I don't need that I'm finished with over to one side so I don't get in a complete mess. So we've got our napkins all ready. As I said, this is the last piece we stick on, so if you're still waiting for it to dry, that's cool. Let's get started on our art journal page. So the only thing I've done to prep my book is I've gessoed my page. The reason I gessoed my page is this book was cream. The other one is a craft colour. So I have given my book a coat of gesso. Let's just make sure my book is up the right way. Yes, it is, because I didn't want to do it upside down. So all I've done is given it a coat of gesso just so that it's not brown, because this particular journal is brown. So let's get started with doing something on our art journal page. So our first step is using some papers. So if you purchase the kit, you'll get the papers. So these are some gel prints that I have made in the past and decided to scan and reproduce images of. So you can buy them in packs on the website. So I'm actually going to, I do need to open a new pack, because I've used up all the colour ones I want. So this is the pack you get. You get 12 pages and they're A4 size. So they're just gel prints that I've made that you can use in your craft. So I want this one today. I want this blue one today. I want this one today. And what other one did I want? There's another orangey one I wanted. I'm going to use this one. So these are commercially printed on a laser printer. So they're nice and rich in colour. I did attempt to print a couple of spare ones on my home printer, my laser home printer, but it was having issues and the colours weren't coming out right. So you can purchase these papers as a digital set. You basically get the digital files, you can print them at home. Hi Helen, how you going? So you can print them at home, you can take them onto a disc and go print them at like an Officeworks. You can print them at a library, anywhere that does commercial printing. Just wanted to show you, this is what you get in the kit, and this is commercially printed. This is what my printer did at home. So you will find if you do print them at different places or at home, you may get slightly different colours. I didn't realise that until I pulled it out and I was trying to find this sheet in the pack, and I'm going, couldn't find it. Then I realised it was printed at home, but that's okay. I think this is, hang on, no, that's printed at home. Where's the blue one that we haven't printed at home? We're going to use the ones out of the pack today. I believe this is commercially printed and this is the one printed at home. So slightly different colour variations. In the end, will it hurt? Will it hurt your art journal page? No, you'll just have a slightly different look. Okay, so I'm going to use that one. So we're going to use the ones that come out of the pack today, which is that one as well. Get rid of that one. I don't have many pages on my paper. Okay, so we basically want the blue one for some sky. We want this one for some earth across our page, and these two are mountains. So let's get started. Okay, put those over there. So I think we're up to, my daughter also has some digital papers on our website as well. So I know I've done 2 packs. I think she's done 4 different packs. So again, you can buy them in the digitals or the printed versions. And some we've done into A5 versions, so we've shrunk the image down in case you're working in a smaller album. So I'm just trimming the white off. Doesn't have to be too exact. I just don't want to deal with that when I'm tearing my paper. So basically we want just a strip to go across the entire page. Like a sky, a bit of a sky. Come on, fingers, pick up the bit of paper. So obviously it's not going to fit all across our book. So we're going to do 2 strips and then we're going to combine it in. So we need a strip about, I don't know how big that is, 2 inches roughly, give or take 2 inches. And we're just going to tear the bit. The reason I like to tear is it just gives you a bit of a wonky edge. So it's going to go up there, something like that. And then we're going to need a bit for over there. So I'm just going to, I'm going to use the torn edge from that bit. So I'm just going to cut this side. So the cut bit's going to hang over my journal and be chopped off. Doesn't have to be straight. I can't cut straight to save my life. You sort of do want where your pages, I'll think of a minute, where they lap over, you want them to be the same height. So I'm just going to take a tiny fraction off this side. You don't want a size difference in where you're joining your paper because that will look a bit funny. So that one's going to go there, and that's obviously way too long. So I'm going to cut it off to about there. So I'm just going to cut all my pieces or tear all my pieces, and then I'm going to do all my gluing at once. So you can either butt them up together. I like to overlap them a bit, and I'm going to show you a trick with some gesso how we get rid of that join. And it won't be as prominent. So then I want some... Sorry, just double checking. We're going to put some sort of ground, so this sort of colour, on 3/4 of our page, and then we're going to have some mountains over here. Clear as mud, right? Just again, taking that white bit off. Yes, I could do it on my paper trimmer, but that involves picking up my paper trimmer again, and I'm being lazy today. Doesn't have to be straight. When I glue these on my book, I like to over glue my page, so I'll overlap it over my art journal page. Then I have to tear it down. Sorry, I have to trim it down anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's not straight. Okay, let's go. Let's trim this bit off because it's going to annoy me. Okay, so I want about the same sort of size, 2 inches, is give or take a bit. If it's a bit bigger, it's a bit small, it doesn't matter. So this is sort of going to go here. Again, I like the torn edge. The torn edge sort of fades in a bit better than a straight edge. So the straight edges always go on my art journal page. The torn edges go inside my art journal page. Might need a bit of that if I make a whoopsie in a minute. Not make my mountains the right size. So we've got 2 pages, and we are going to decide which mountain we want in front and which one we want in the back. So I think I want this one at the front, which is a bit brighter, and this one at the back. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we want this at the front. So again, let's cut these white bits off. I have to see if our printer can print the entire page. I'm not sure whether they're... Sometimes you can tell your printer to not print white edges, but I don't know how to do that. I'll have to go research. I don't know whether I can do it on my home computer. It's some setting you tick when you send it to print. Maybe I can get my daughter to decide how, or work out how to do that. Okay, so I sort of want my first mountain to go from about 3/4 of, on the left hand side of the page, so 3/4 in and sort of up to there. So if we start it like there, so if I start at the edge of the paper and sort of cut a domey sort of, you can sketch it out beforehand. Do I do that? No. And should I sketch it out? Possibly. So I sort of want, just seeing how I did it on the, oh, I covered up the join. That's what I did. Don't worry about the join at the minute. See how I've sort of got like a bit of a mountain shape, and then I'm going to cut this a little bit off here so it's not hanging over so much. I keep all those scraps. They go in my scrap bin, and, well, they just hang out in my scrap bin at the moment, but one day they get used. So now we want a sort of another mountain in the background here. So I don't tend to pre-draw a lot of these things. I just eyeball it. Sometimes I'll cut on the side of a bigger side if I think I might want it smaller, and then I can always trim it down. Or there's enough paper, you can just cut another one. Sorry, that cutting is probably getting annoying. Oh, it's rubbish. Okay. So I sort of want... Where do I want the mountain going? Do I want it... I think I want it sort of coming... I think I want to overlap the page a bit and have it sort of coming... Maybe not. What did I do in the other one? Oh, that's what I did in the other one. I had this one more over here. You goose. I shouldn't have cut that bit off. That's right. I can stick it back. I'll show you a trick. Now I know what I've done. I should be looking at my other page, shouldn't I? Okay. So, and then the other mountain comes in from here, because I was wondering how they join up. So, you sort of want to go that direction. So you're sort of doing a quarter circle, quarter oval, sort of. There we go. That's the effect I wanted. Sometimes I do these pages months in advance, and then I come to teach them, and it's like, I can't remember what I did. I'm a goose. I don't know. I do write instructions down, but do I actually look at them? Probably not. Okay, so this is looking something like I want, but I think I want to just not have that so prominent. Oh, that looks a bit better. And then we're going to glue that, glue that, glue that, glue that. Okay, we're up to gluing. So, I forgot to mention, these are just printed on photocopy paper. So, it's 80 GSM photocopy paper. So, it's nice and thin for your journal. So, when you have like 3 layers sitting on top of each other, it's not like heavy cardstock. So, using heavy cardstock, if you've got, I don't know whether you've got these sort of patterns or appropriate patterns in your stash, will make your art journal a lot thicker. So, just bear that in mind when you're doing like what we call paper piercing or layering stuff. The thicker the paper you're using is the thicker your art journal will get. Okay. So we're going to glue these down with gel medium. This one says heavy gel medium. This one is by Craft. I saw it at a cheap shop and decided to try it out. It says heavy gel medium, but it's equivalent to a gel medium. So I'm going to use that opposed to the one we use for our napkins, because I find the matte medium is a little thin to hold these papers. You sort of have to force your paintbrush. Start again. Put the adhesive down like the matte medium. Put your paper on top and really press it in when you use the thinner one. So the thinner one's really only for thin papers, and when you get a bit thicker papers, you want a gel medium. So a gel medium is, I'll show you in a second, it's a bit of a thicker consistency. And I want my palette knife. So when I'm using gel medium, because it's thicker and it gums up paintbrushes, I like to use palette knife, or those silicone wedges. I don't know where I've put mine at the moment. An old credit card, something so you can scrape on a thin layer and scrape it off. Now, what am I going to do first? Let's do the blue first. So you'll see when this matte medium, and there's loads of different brands of, the gel medium. You'll see when you take this out, I can get it up on my palette knife and it's not falling off. It's almost like whipped cream, whipped butter. Whoops. Okay, it shouldn't fall off. It's not as runny as the other one. So what I like to do is get it on the back of my spatula and put a thin layer. So I believe Tim Holtz make a gel medium, Liquitex make a gel medium. There's so many different brands out there. Montmark make one. Not so much of a fan of the Montmark one. I find it a little tacky, but a little sticky sort of to use. So basically putting it on your art journal page where you want your piece of paper to go. And then I'm going to put my piece of paper on, just feeling that it's overlapped. It's overlapped a little over the edge of the art journal page, and I can always trim it off. And then with a little more gel medium, I want to press it down with my palette knife and sort of seal it in. There's two reasons why I put gel medium on top of my paper. A, it allows me to press it down. And B, it allows the paper to have a barrier or a waterproof layer on top. So if you have an oopsie later on and spill some ink or spill some paint where you don't want it, you have the ability to take it off again. So putting it over the top is really good. So I'm just going to spread some more out. You don't need a thick layer, so you can sort of see I'm spreading it and then sort of wiping it off. So I've got way too much on there at the moment to do what I want to do. So you really want to sort of work it into your spine of your book. So then when your book closes, it doesn't get a bumpiness to it. Doesn't get like an air bubble or an air pocket in it. So all the pages I've got today are laser printed, so they're permanent inks on the papers. If you're at home and using a inkjet printer, just be mindful that your ink may run a little bit when you put like a wet moisture glue on top of it. So you want to be sort of quite quick if you're using an inkjet, if you've printed your own papers. You don't want to keep going over and over because the gel medium might react with the ink and blur it, if that makes sense. Clear as mud, right? So you want to make sure there's no big blobby bits. So that is our sky done. And I missed a bit of my art journal page, but that's all right. It's only like a millimetre. It'll do. Now, what we want to do with these mountains and sort of earthy stuff down here is we've got this one sort of on top, this one's underneath, and this one's underneath. So we want to actually glue the one that's underneath first, then this one, then this one. So what you can do, and the smart thing to do, which Mel doesn't usually do. Hi Caroline, how you going? Thanks for joining in. Smart thing to do is do a little pencil mark just under where it's going. Because sometimes I just wing it and then I go and wonder where I'm sticking it. So let's do pencil marks. And be smart. Don't need to pencil mark this one because it's going onto the bottom of the page. Just these two mountains. So now we can take them off. We should have some idea of where they're going back. Never looks the same when you put it back on your page. Whoops. Okay. So this gel medium dries clear. So if you do get any outside of where your paper's going to stick down, does that make sense? So if there's any showing around the edge of your paper, it'll dry clear and you won't see it. Clear as mud, right? I don't know what's with my words today. It's Sunday. Words are hard. Whoops, what was that? I've got something on my... I've got some white stuff on my palette knife. So you can sort of smooth out any air bubbles. I can see. If you're getting air bubbles, it means you have not put enough gel medium on your surface of your journal before. Why am I getting all... Oh, I'm picking up something off somewhere. If you're getting air bubbles, it means you have not put enough underneath. So next time, wax some more underneath. So you want to be quite generous with the gel medium. It goes a long way. Oops, oops. Don't do that. I blobbed it on the edge of the page. I just don't want it to stick to the other side of the page, because what have I got on the other side of the page? I've got something. Come on, baby wipe, come out of the package. Let's just throw a couple on the table. Just want to make sure I don't slop it on the other page, on the other side page where I've got something beautiful as well. So I do have some baking paper just behind my art journal page, just protecting me from gooping up the other pages. So that's a good thing to have. So is anyone following along with stuff they've got at home? I know we sold quite a few kits before the class. I wonder if anyone is following along that purchased a kit. Or if you're anything like me, you like to watch a video first and then you like to do it when you can start and stop the video. I don't know, I try to craft along with live videos and I'm always off trying to find some sort of supply because I'm never organised to get stuff first. Or I'm just, yeah, I'm not as quick as the person doing it, so I like the videos that you can replay. Because then you can start it and stop it and do all sorts of fun stuff. Mute me if you don't like me talking. It's always fun, isn't it? So just being a bit more attentive to, that's not where I want that, put that over there. The gutter of the book, just giving a good press down so when the book closes it doesn't have a big issue. Okay. This is quite fun. It feels like you're spreading frosting on a cake. And this one I'm going to overlap slightly on the side of the page. And then go over the top. Yep. I was just making sure that that orange one is overlapping, so that one is on the edge of the page. Cool. Making sure there's no big blobs. Looks like I've got an air bubble in the mountain, but that's right. You won't see it. So just scraping off any extra big blobs. If you are scraping back into your jars, just be careful you don't get on the rim of your jar, because then your lid will stick on and then you're in all sorts of trouble. You have to go get hubby to get it off for you. Or someone with muscles. Okay, and always with gel medium, or whatever tool you apply it with, either go and wash it or wipe it with a baby wipe, because gel medium will dry like plastic. It'll dry raised and bumpy and you'll wreck whatever tool you use. So wiping it the baby wipe, I'll go wash it properly later. Okay. I don't know what that grud is on the page. Okay, now we've got this. So this top bit is nearly dry, but we're going to give this a blow with our heat tool. So by picking up your book and not having your book flat, it will actually dry a lot quicker. Still quite wet up there. I thought it was a bit drier. Actually, instead of making you watch that dry, let's do some busy work and then we'll come back to this. So we've got some things we've got to cut out. So let's put this away to dry and do some cutting out and then we'll come back to it. So the people on our page, let me find this, and this, and these, and these. So the people we've got standing on our page, so we've got one with our butterfly wings, and we've got a group of 3 people standing on the other side of our page. So if you do purchase the kit, you'll get this stencil, or this stencil is available on my website. So we're going to use the medium size person. So when you purchase this one, you get the stencil, person with the holes, and you get the masks. So I'm just going to use the mask. And I've already cut out 2. I thought I cut out 3. Hang on, as a lady ran away. No? Okay. So we need 4. I was going to say black ladies, but that's probably not real appropriate. We need 4 people cut out. So all I do is take the stencil. I just rummaged around in my stash and found some black offcuts of cardstock. Or if you purchase any of my products, you know that black bit of paper that comes in my stencils and stuff? That would work awesomely as well. So I'm just going to trace it around with pencil and then I can erase the pencil later. So the idea behind this art journal page is the one on the right with the butterfly wings is standing out and showing her true colours. The others are just black and all bunched together, so they're sort of a crowd and not showing their own colours and not doing their own thing. That was sort of the concept behind the page. So I started to cut this one out. I cut the inside of the arms out with a knife, or you can do it with scissors. So basically pencil marks and then cut your people out. So I'll cut 1.5 out while our page is drying. You cut them out in different colours if you like. I just liked black because I like the black contrast with the light or the bright colours. But if you want to change things around on this art journal page, your page is your own to add your own, what word am I looking for? God, words today. Add your own style. Is that the word I'm looking for? Add your own, style. We'll go with that word. Sorry, cutting and talking is not fun. Sorry, I apologise if my head is in the way too. Trying not to cut her legs off. So if you particularly don't want to cut out people like this, we do sell cutouts of the people on our website as well. But because we needed 4 for the class, I thought it was more economical to give you the stencil and make you cut them out. But if you don't want to do that, this person is on the website in about this size in white cardstock, I believe, and you just have to paint it black. So, or there might be black ones on the website too. I don't know. Don't know what's on my website anymore. I've got too many products to remember them all. So that one's cut out, and we'll just zoom around this one. So they don't take that long to cut out. Not much fussy cutting in this class. I know some of you despise that word. So I'm hoping to keep up 1 class a month. Life has got shockingly busy lately. When is my life not busy? It's got a whole lot busier because my daughter started her TAFE course, and I actually enrolled as well because she needs a little bit of support doing the course, and I thought if I'm going to have to sit there and read the material and sort of help her a little bit, then I may as well do the course as well and get to the end of it. So my lovely daughter just needs a little bit of assistance with sometimes understanding how things are written if it's not real obvious, or the language is not, or the way it's written is not real clear. She struggles a bit. And I struggle too. It's like, what is that really asking us to do? So we started that 2 weeks ago, so it's a bit of a learning curve of trying to juggle everything and find an extra few hours in my very busy day as it is to do that. But my daughter's doing very well. She's surprising me actually in how she is doing the course. Okay, now I'm just going to expose my glass mat over here and grab my knife. And take my glasses off for a minute. Now you probably will see my head. I apologise. It'll only take me a couple of seconds to hopefully not cut a finger off. Oh, I didn't go dark enough. Didn't go deep enough. Come on. You could do the insides with a pair of scissors. Actually, let's do the next one with a pair of scissors because that's really awkward. So when I'm doing it with a pair of scissors, I sort of half fold but not fold, if that makes sense, and put a snip in there, and then I can get the tip of my scissors in and just cut around it, which is probably a better way to doing it than trying to wrestle with a craft knife. They're not difficult shapes to cut out. There we go. Now we've got 4 ladies. So hopefully, by the time you cut your 4 ladies out, I'm going to put... We're done with this stencil, this mask, so I'm just going to pop it back in the little... I've got these binders from Officeworks here in Australia. And I have all my stencils in there, which keeps them a bit neater. And those little masks usually get lost on my desk, so I try to keep them in their folders when I'm not using them. So I'm just going to take an eraser and erase any lines, any pencil lines. I could have turned the stencil over and done them backwards. I didn't think of that, did I, until now? That's right, pencil lines are off that one. Some on this one. That one I did, and that one I did. Okay, so I'll pop those aside. We'll need those a little later on. Let's bring our book back and see if that pesky gel medium... Let me just put this stencil away as well. Look, me being neat and tidy. Neat and tidy is not my thing, if you know me. Okay, let's bring... Oh, trying to grab my art journal with one hand. Art journal back. It is a little sticky still over this side because I probably didn't dry that side much. Okay, a little bit more drying. Probably by the time you cut 4 people out, it would be dry. That should be dry enough to move on. You can sort of feel with your hand if it feels really cold, it's usually a bit more damp. But yeah, it's a bit too sticky up here. Give us that another minute. So it doesn't have to be completely dry for this step, but dry enough that when you stick your hand on it, you don't get gel medium on you. Okay. Now I'm going to take this extra paper out. Yes, I don't need that anymore. I'm not going to be super messy in my journal because the crinkleness and the crinkling of it annoys me, and then I can't see where my page ends and stops. So I may regret that in a minute, but we're going to go with it. So now what we're going to do, if I bring... Oh, I've got stuff everywhere. I need a bigger area to craft. If we grab our original journal. So you can see up here that you can't really see where the paper starts and the white stops. So at the moment on my back page here, there's quite a harsh line. And there's quite a harsh line over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some white gesso and sort of make it not so harsh. Grab some gesso. So I'm using Kmart gesso. Again, I don't think Kmart have gesso anymore. You might be lucky to find some. But a lot of companies sell gesso. Gesso is basically traditionally the primer or the undercoat that we put on canvases to seal like the material, and it puts like a waterproof barrier on it. So the reason I like to gesso my page is it makes the paper a lot thicker. This paper in this particular journal is quite thirsty, and it will just suck up. It's probably not the correct way of putting it, but it will absorb. It's a better word. Absorb your paint and gel medium. So if you put a barrier of the gesso on top, your paint or gel medium doesn't soak into the raw paper. Clear as mud, right? Sort of, maybe. So you can use gesso as an undercoat, or you can use it as like a top coat as well. It's basically white paint with a bit of gritty chalkiness in it that gives your pages what we call a bit of tooth. So you can sort of hear it sounds a bit gritty, where it doesn't when I'm doing that, because that's photocopy paper, but this sounds a bit gritty, but you really can't see the grit. I know, a bit hard to understand. It's like when you paint a house, you undercoat the house, and gesso's your undercoat, and then you put your stuff over the top. Now, I like to finger paint. If you don't like to finger paint, grab a paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is grab a bit of gesso and just put it on sort of the edge of where the paper is. And then what I want to do is I want to come up on the paper, and I'm trying to make that line not so prominent. But I also don't want to have blue, white. I don't want to just put a big blob of gesso there and have the same problem I have here, where it's quite contrasty in its look. So it's a bit of, oh yeah, just stick my finger in the jar there. That'll work. A bit of fiddling around, sort of wiping the gesso on, fading it up onto the paper. The reason I like doing it with my fingers, I don't have to wash another paintbrush. It's me being lazy. But I get a lot smoother look with my finger, and it sort of connects you more with your journal, because you sort of when you've got a paintbrush in your hand, you're further away from your journal, but when your fingers are smack bang on your journal, I don't know, it connects you a bit more. I don't know, I just like to finger paint. I feel like I'm 2-year-old or 3-year-old when I'm finger painting. So we're just working that edge until we're happy. I'm sort of happy with this over here. You can see how it's not as stark now. So do go up and over the paper a bit. You will sort of still see the line of the paper, but it shouldn't be a dark line or a prominent line, if that makes sense. So if you do put too much on, I was just about to itch my ear with the with my painty finger. That would have been a disaster. I stopped myself before I did it. Oh god, I end up covered in paint when I craft. I am dreadful. So when you're happy, stop. I'm not quite happy with this bit. I sort of like this bit. That's what I was going to say, sorry. If you put too much on, you can grab a baby wipe and wipe some of it off. So for example, if I don't like a bit up here, I can gently wipe a bit of it back. Now, if I didn't have the gel medium on my paper, you would have a very hard time wiping it back. But because that gel medium has put like a barrier on top of your paper, a clear barrier, you're able to wipe it back if you need to. A bit more gesso here because this bit's bugging me. It's just not as... See how that has toned it down immensely from what it was? Like here it's quite stark. We're going to do this bottom bit in a minute. But when you're happy, stop. A tiny bit more gesso. We're going to do some more stenciling over this, so that's not the final layer. Okay, when we're happy, stop. And we're going to do the same thing here. Did I do it to my mountains? No. So I'm going to do it to this bit here, which I went a bit more faded, but I actually didn't fade in my mountains because I wanted them to be more prominent. Because mountains sort of are a bit more prominent, but sort of skies aren't. I don't know. Sometimes there's no rhyme and reason why I do something on an art journal page. I just do it, and it just works. What I am going to do is this bit that connects here, I'm going to sort of smudge this in a bit because it's just a bit prominent than I like. So again, stop when you're happy. This one down here is a bit easier to fade in because it's not so dark. And I've got a bit too much gesso on my page. Let's wipe a bit off. See how easy it wipes off? It's really nice. So just sort of rubbing around in circles until I'm happy with how it looks. Now that I've wiped some off, I need a tiny bit more. So art journaling is all about layering and sort of adding more layers until you're happy. And everyone's page is going to turn out slightly different. Even when I teach an in-person class of 20 and we follow the same art journal page, everyone's page is slightly different, which is cool. You all put your own personalities and spin on it. And I just put white gesso on my black trousers. That was intelligent. Couldn't find my apron today. I don't know where it is. I've put it somewhere safe, in a safe spot. Do you think I can find that safe spot? No. Am I done with the gesso for now? Yes, I think we are. So I just want to wipe the gesso off my paint spatula. I like the plastic ones because they're a bit more flexible than the metal ones. But if you've got the metal ones, you just got to be a bit more careful that they don't stick into your book. Okay, let's give that a bit of a dry, but it won't take long. Still a bit wet. Actually, while it's drying off, we have some more busy work to do. Let's make some flowers. Okay. So I used this particular paper because I sort of wanted a bit of texture on my flowers, but in the end you don't see it. So you could do this on white paper, but I'm going to do it on the same. So I'm just trying to grab out of my bucket that I've got off to the side the things I need. So I need some inks and I need a blending tool that's not in there. Oh, there it is. So on our layout, hang on. So on our layout, whoops, in screen would be good. We have some little flowers down here, some flowers here and some flowers here. So we're going to make 9 flowers. Something just fell. It didn't fall very far. So what I've done is I've used this big flower stencil and I've only used just the middle little bit to make our flowers. So what I did was I looked at, if I've got our napkins we can bring back in. I looked at the napkins. Which one did I use? This one? Yeah, I used that one, didn't I? So I looked at the napkins and sort of go, what colours are in my napkins? What colours do I want to bring into my page? So there's a bit of pink in here. There's obviously blue. This was the closest blue I could find. And there's sort of some orange in here. So whenever you're working with napkins, you can start pulling your colours from the napkins and matching them up close. So all the supplies I've used are actually listed where you can purchase the kit from my website. So these particular colours are listed. But you can use Tim Holtz Distress Oxides. You could use his inks. I only used archival because they were closest colours I had to match what I want. So we've got Ranger. I think these 2 big ones are really old and just Ranger. They're not with a particular designer. So Ranger Bright Changello, Ranger Vibrant Turquoise, and this one is, I think that says Wendy Vecchi. In her range is Forget Me Not in the blue. Basically, I mix up all different brands of ink. If I had 2 archival and I didn't have a blue, I could use a Tim Holtz Distress ink. It wouldn't matter. So go look for your colours. It doesn't matter about your what ink brands they are. Or you could do it with paint. I find ink's going to be quite subtle. So that's what I want to go with ink. And I'm going to start with orange because I'm not going to wash my blending tool. Just seeing what colours in my blending tool. So to clean these, this is like a really hairy brush. These are great for blending through stencils because they get into all the nooks and the crannies, give you a really nice look. So bunches of shops sell these blending tools. So what I do is before I start using it, I don't know what colour I used on it last time. I will just brush it on a wet baby wipe or brush it on a piece of paper towel to see if there's any ink coming out. If there's brown ink coming out of it, I'll grab a different one. I'm going to grab orange. Just going to rub our blending tool into the ink, and we're going to position our stencil. Now this one's quite a fine stencil, so you sort of got to hold it quite close to where you're rubbing. And then I'm just going to rub around and make a flower. So I'm going to move my fingers out of the way. Yes, you could tape your stencil down. Yes, you could tape your paper down, but that just involves another step, and I don't do that. I'm lazy crafter. So what I am going to do is actually just hold my paper and stencil and flip this up and see if I like the flower. Now they're going to be quite subtle because they're in ink, but that's sort of the look I wanted to go for. If you want them to be, hope that hasn't moved because I'm going to put more ink in it. Trying to get a bit darker in the middle, so I'm going over and over it in a second layer and pressing a bit harder. Yeah, I wanted these to be quite subtle. So there's one, and I'm going to cut that one out. So I want 3 of each colour. So I want 3 orange. I really need one of those little holders that hold my ink pad on my table so it doesn't run around. I've seen them, I just haven't bought one yet. Or I could put it in something so it just, when you're inking, it doesn't jump on around your table. So I'd go a little bigger than you're thinking you want to make your flower. There's a second flower. And where am I going to do the last one? Do the last one here. Down here. I need 3 hands when I'm inking. I need one to hold the paper, one to hold the stencil, one to hold the ink pad. Oh, 4 hands and one to hold the blending tool. So I find holding the blending tool by its head more than the handle gives me better control. But you'll all work out your own way. You could use Tim Holtz blending foam as well if you didn't have the sticks. You could use a sponge. Just use what you've got on hand. I just particularly like these blending tools because when you've got a really fine stencil, it does a really nice job. Now we're done with that one. Don't particularly have to wash these. I am going from the lightest colour to the darker colour. But as you can see, there's not much ink coming off the little hairs, so it doesn't store a lot of ink in the little bristles. So now we'll do our pink. I might have to grab another sheet of this paper. I should have a scrap around somewhere. You can do it on white paper. That's fine. I just thought I'd do it with a bit of texture in the background, a bit of grunge, so it would match the page. But you don't see a lot of the grunge anyway after you cut your flowers out. Oops, I forgot about the flowers when I saw there wasn't much fussy cutting, didn't I? Oops, that's right. The flowers are really easy to cut out. There's a pink one. I'll do a pink one in the middle. So you can sort of make your flowers a bit bigger or a bit smaller if you like. You didn't want to make your own flowers? If you've got flowers in your stash, stick those on. That's probably quicker. Go find some. Actually, probably not in my stash because that would involve going out to the shed and looking in boxes and boxes of stuff for my flowers. So probably quicker to stencil them in my house, but your house you might have access to flowers. I'm sure your stash is more organised than mine. You're all very quiet in the chat. You must be just listening along, or I'm not creating any questions. It's funny sitting here and doing lives because you're almost talking to yourself, like you don't hear anyone else. So it's quite eerie actually. Well, that would be a 4-thread one. Mel can't count. Stop at 3. I'll do a blue one over here and I'll find another scrap to do my other blue one. So occasionally I will give my blending tools a wash and it will wash out any ink, but it's not, they don't absorb much ink. We'll do a blue one here. I just watch I don't go from a brown to like a yellow. Eventually I will have one for every colour, but I'm not that organised. Then I'd have to label them, then I'd have to find the right one for the right ink, and that just sounds like too much work. Hence why I started with the lighter colour of ink and then go into the dark. So if a little bit of orange got in my blue ink pad, it's not really going to do much. The tiny bit that this blending tool holds. Now, where do I have my pile of papers? Do I throw them in my bucket? I only need enough for 2 more flowers. No, I think they're up here. Oh, I've got stuff everywhere. Found it. So I need 2 more blue ones. So let's do up this end. Hopefully the camera isn't jiggling with me doing this. I moved my webcam and I've stuck it on my light with duct tape. Hopefully the duct tape holds for the entirety of the light. Just to get a better camera angle. Good old duct tape, hey? Helps everything. So I need one more. I'll do one more here. So cleaning your stencils. Do I clean my stencil after this? No. A, I'm lazy. B, it's a bit of archival ink and it won't interrupt with any other project. If I was using like a Tim Holtz water reactive ink, I'd probably wipe it with a baby wipe just because next time it may interact. But these archival inks will dry on your plastic stencil and it won't interact with your next project. There we go. They're a bit darker than my last one, but that's okay. Maybe I used a lighter colour. I'm sure that was the colour I wrote down. Okay. Now we have to quickly fussy cut these. They don't take long. So any questions while I'm fussy cutting? So basically I just pick, and I'm hoping my head's not into view. For anyone that's new to my channel or new to me, I do have low vision, so you can see I wear glasses because I sometimes take them off to do stuff. So to do stuff that's really fine like this, usually I have this paper quite close to my nose. But if I do that on a video, you see the top of my lovely head. So I'm trying to keep my head out of shot. So there we go. So if you cut a flower and then you go, oh, it's a bit wonky or it looks a bit funny, you can then just trim off some more petals. That one looks a bit funny. So we can just trim off, I think we need to trim off these petals here. See how that looks a bit better? Looks a bit more proportioned. So any questions so far while I am cutting out these flowers? As I said, they won't take that long. And you don't have to be super fussy with them. You could also use die cut flowers too. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. I think I moved the stencil. That's right. We are going to overlap the flowers, so if you do have an ugly bit on your flower, you just hide it under another bit of the flower. Oops. I have to get a new die cut machine because mine is, oh, it's older than Alexis. Miss Alexis will be 18 at the end of the year, so my poor Cuttlebug, my green Cuttlebug, is just about on its last legs, and I need to update it. I just haven't got around to it yet. And then I could have possibly die cut flowers, but that's all right. I don't mind fussy cutting. It's not the most dreadful thing in the world. I know some people particularly don't like it. But these flowers are very forgiving. You can be as fussy or be as intricate as you want. I'm not being overly intricate. And all flowers in nature are slightly wonky. That's why my flowers are slightly wonky. I actually like to sit and make a lot of things for my pages, like cut out from stencils or usually when my die cut machine is working, make things and decorate them myself because I don't know, it just A, gives me more crafting time, and G, it's just a bit therapeutic to sit there and die cut or sit there and make some flowers. So if you're watching a movie, you could sit there and stencil a whole page of flowers and cut them out, and then you have little flowers in your stash for other projects. I was going to pre-cut some of these, and I got a couple of people cut, and then I ran out of time. Then I decided I needed lunch before I did my live. I was like, cut some more people or go have some lunch. So I'd lunch one out. Sorry, guys. We're nearly there. We're on to the 5th flower. I know. Here's the advantage of the video. You can fast forward me cutting out your flowers, or you can cut along with me. So is anyone crafting along with me? Crafting the page? I know a couple of ladies are. Because I was texting this morning and going, what do I need to do for my page? And you ladies know who you are. You know who I'm talking about. Is anyone else crafting in the craft room and just listening to me waffle along? Or are you just sitting and having a relaxing Sunday afternoon? Wow, this one's a bit wayward. I think the stencil moved. Whoops. That's right. If you're particularly unhappy with one of your flowers, just stencil another one. That's right. I like funky flowers on my pages. Actually, that doesn't look too bad once you cut it out. No one's chatting. I'm assuming you're all doing something while you're listening. Hopefully the chat's not broken. Knowing Facebook wouldn't be surprising. Every time I go to do a live, Facebook changed some setting and I have to hunt around for something or something. And but actually I do like the change they've made this time. I never used to be able to see comments and a little picture of my screen to make sure I stay in shot on the same screen. So I used to have to put my phone on to have that to make sure I stay in the screen and see my comments. But I see Facebook has made one change I do like. Usually it's changes I don't like. How many flowers have we got? 3. Oh, I'm on the last one. Gee, that didn't take long. Everyone's groaning, going, yep, Melinda, that took forever. No, it didn't. You're just imagining it. Now get rid of this rubbish. That baby my overflowing bin. Oh, you're all still there, are you, Susan? Is that what you're saying? Yes, we are still there. I haven't made anyone fall asleep yet. Okay, so our flowers get put with our ladies that we've cut out, and we'll use them in a minute. Let's bring our page back in. Okay, now what's our next step? Oh, stamping. So rummage around in your stash and find a script stamp. My good old faithful packet of script stamps. Not that one. So what I want to do is just add a bit of stamping down here. Just to add another layer. So these are my favourite script stamps. This little one is a really old primer stamp, years and years old, and I remember buying this one at a craft show years and years ago. So they get used on just about every layout. So they hang out in this plastic pocket. So I'm going to use this little one. So I'm going to use archival ink. Oh, you're crafting along with me, Susan. Awesome. I sometimes do that. I put a YouTube video or a live on in the background and craft along. Feels like I have a friend talking to me, doesn't it? Just making sure this is up the right way. So I just want to add a bit of stamping to this sort of bottom bit. Oh, I've just put my finger in gel medium. Have I? That's not dry underneath. That's right. That's the bits that's hanging off the page anyway. I should trim that bit down. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, back to stamping. So I don't want to put it on a stamping block. I just want to sort of whack it in the ink and then sort of whack it on my page. And I like it, well, it's a bit dark. I like to do like what we call 2nd generation, or that's 4th generation stamping. So without re-inking, just putting a bit of something around. Just want to sort of give a bit more texture. And I'm not stamping out in no man's land. It's on the bit of pattern paper. I could bring a bit of stamping over here. You're not really going to see it because it's a bit darker than my other one. You could stamp up in the sky, but I'm going to do some stenciling up there. So stop when you're happy. So when I'm art journaling, I like to think of a really good analogy is like a a tap with water in it, so that the water comes from the tap and then sort of it's all connected and it all like expands out. So you don't particularly want to just stick stuff in the middle of your page where it's not connected to something. So our stamping is sort of coming up above our paper, but it's still connected to the paper. Our mountains are sort of connected to the side of the page and each other, so we don't have things sort of floating, if that makes sense. Now we're going to do some stenciling. So we've got a small, where is it? Come here. Small little circular mosaic-y stencil. And we want our blending tool back again. So I'm going to do some, this is going to have to be dry. Look, that's not dry in there. Do you do all the hand tests? Stick your hand on your page to see if you get stuff on your hand and then you know it's not dry? This is why I end up covered in paint. Okay. Must have been just a bit thicker there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the blue, the same colour I used on my flowers, and sort of the same colour that's up here, but a slightly different shade. So what I want to do is fill in a little bit of this white. I still want to have quite a bit of white. And I've just realised I've done my mountain too tall, but it'll still work. We sort of want to, stencil over the top here and cover up a bit of the white, but not completely obliterate the white. So if we bring our people in, for example. So we're going to have 3 people standing over here. So they're going to sort of stand on our paper. They're sort of going to be grouped, so you really can't tell them apart. Something like this, something. So we sort of want to do a bit of stenciling around here and up here, but we want to leave most of that white. And then our other lady over here, which my mountain's in the wrong spot. That's okay. The butterfly wings are going to go here. So we're sort of going to do some stenciling here and here. So we want to leave a fair bit of white, but also add some stenciling, if that makes sense. Clear as mud, right? Yep. So the reason I want to stencil up over the paper is stenciling on the white and stopping before the paper gives your page a bit of disconnect. If you stencil up and over the other element, sometimes you might not see it or see it very well, but it is there and it helps to connect the 2 elements to the page, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to line my stencil up. And why I chose this stencil, I don't know, it looked good. I don't know why I chose this one, but it was one of our new range. It was released last month and it just seemed to go with the page. So just lining the stencil up and going round and round. So starting off quite dark over the paper and then sort of fading out down to the mountains. That's probably a bit darker than I wanted it, but that's cool. So now this stencil is a repeating stencil, so we can line it up. Line up here and keep going across our page. Line it up. Sounds good, Melinda. There we go, we got it. So sort of going a bit darker on, and I'm going to go a bit more lighter on there. See how I've got this is really light and this is a bit darker? I'm going to line it up again. Line this bit up with here. Lining up is not my forte, so sometimes mine doesn't line up correctly. Oops. Don't move your stencil. I'm deliberately not going quite close to the edge of the stencil because I don't want to get a harsh line, so I keep moving it. And I sort of don't want a harsh line here, so I sort of want it to be graduated across. Oh God, I don't know where my words are. I think my brain is a bit sore from studying TAFE this week. All my words have gone to that. Studying again is certainly a learning curve. Have not studied for several decades. Oh, education has changed since I've been last in it. Okay. Stop when you're happy. So I think I'm happy. It sort of touches the mountains. I don't have as much white space as my last page, but that's cool. And then we're going to do some across this side. So it almost goes all the way across the top, but I'm going to start here and sort of fade it into the middle because we're going to see a bit more of it down this side. Told you I can't replicate my page exactly. I don't know how people can do that. It's just not my style. I'm not a measuring person. I don't use rulers very often, so I just sort of go rip it and cut it and go, yep, we're just going to go with that. Now stenciling is a bit darker than my last page, but that's cool too. I can't. I'm going to go a bit lighter here. I'm going to bring this down a bit. Where are we going to go? No, we can go down here. So as you can tell, I'm not re-inking very often, only when it doesn't. Oh, I don't like how that harsh line is there. Let's fix that. It's amazing how much ink these blending brushes actually hold. There we go, that's a bit more not straight linedy. Actually, this is a bit darker. It'll be interesting to see which one I like, my original page or this one, because this one's a bit darker and it's inking. That's okay, still look good. There's no mistakes in art journaling. You just slightly change your mind and where you thought you were going. This page didn't turn out how I thought it was going to turn out. I still love it. But I had an idea in my head, and halfway through the page, the idea changed. And this will sort of line up. I should have continued across the page and just start on both sides, but you won't see it. So it's amazing how your art journal page can morph along the way, and I want to bring that down just a little bit. Where is that? That is... trying to line up with what I did. This bit. There it is. They're all lined up somewhere. I just want to lightly bring this down a bit. That's too light. Bit darker. Just didn't want to go too dark. Ah, that's a bit better. Okay. So I think we're done with the inking, and that ink almost dries, so you almost don't have to dry it. Just give it a bit of a heat set. Just going to have a quick drink while I think of the next step. I think the next step is just sticking everything on. Let me look at my page. Yep, so let's gather all our bits and play the procrastination game. Where are the darn things gonna go? It's not so bad because I've done this page before. I sort of know. I'm looking for my butterfly that I'm going to cut out, that I stuck on acetate. Not the one I did just before the class, or I'm going to do... well, I'm going to use the pink one because that one's dry. Or I could use one of my laminated ones. Let's have some options. So in the class kit or on the website, we've got Stand Out in the Crowd, a quote. So this quote, I didn't know how I wanted to stick it on my page, so I didn't like join the words together. Some quotes we've got on the website are joined together and use them like in a clump. This one I sort of just joined the words in a frame so you can cut them out and scatter them across your page, because I didn't have a lot of room. Actually thinking I'm going to reverse this page. Stick my lady and my butterfly over here, and stick my people over here, because I did my mountains too tall. Let's see if this will work. So this will sort of go over here. I'll cut my butterfly in a minute, just thinking out loud whether the flow will work. Let's trim out our words and have a bit of a play around with those. So these connecting lines and the frame, it's just easy for me to pick that up out of the machine and throw it in a bag than try to pick up the 5 words. So basically I try to put these connecting lines on flat parts of the letter, or easy parts to cut off, so you just snip them. So we've got stand out, and then I'll just snip them off. So you could keep that black frame if you wanted to and use it for something. I don't. It's basically just to hold the words together now. The E is a bit tricky because it's on an angle, but we didn't have a choice with the E. Sometimes I try to stand out in the crowd, goes in, the crowd goes down here. Try to put the connecting bits on just straight ones so they're really easy to cut off, but in that crowd. Sometimes we don't have a choice with what particular letters we do. Stand out goes up there. So you could also handwrite a title if you're so far that way inclined. I am trying to love my handwriting, but I don't at the moment. So this sort of fits in the... Excuse me, art journal page. Why is mine not fitting? Oh, because I had it too far across. Okay. So this will fit... Let me just bend that over so I know where my page ends. I'll cut it off in a minute. So when we're breaking words up, we sort of want to break them up into something that will make sense. So if we go stand and then out in the crowd, it doesn't sort of... I don't know whether the word's grammatically or it doesn't sort of make sense, but stand out, like you can read that up, stand out in the crowd, makes more sense when you break it up that way. Clear as mud, right? I'm thinking I really want to swap these over, but I'm not 100% sure on it. Actually, she's still going to stand out. No, we're just going to go this way. We're just going to see more mountain behind her wings, but that is absolutely cool. Because I think we want the crowd over there, because then I'd have to change the words around. Yep. What were you thinking, Melinda? What butterfly do I want? Do I want to use the shiny one? Or do I want to use the pink one? This is why I call it the procrastination stage. You really don't want to know how long these classes take to get together. Because Melinda sits there and procrastinates and goes, will I use this? Will I use this? I don't know what to do next. And it takes quite a long while to get them to the finished stage. Let's try our flowers on and then I'll decide. I'm thinking I want to go the pink butterfly just to be different. Because I used the blue one on the other page. But I do like the blue one too. Okay, so basically we have a pink, an orange, and a blue flower up here. We have pink, an orange, and a blue flower here. And where were the other flowers? The other flowers are over here. So we have... What have I done? That must be... Well, have I got more orange flowers than I need? Or is that an orange one? Have I done... No, that's a pink one. Okay, so I may cut some of my flowers down in a minute, but I sort of positioned the flowers, sort of grouped them... The corner there, sort of here, overlapping, something like this. The in is actually sitting on a flower. Leslie, you would use the blue one. Okay, let's use the blue one. I'm not making a decision. It does go better. I agree. Let's use this one. We're just going to have shiny wings, but that's right. Oh, it does go better with the blue. Thanks, Leslie. Now I don't have to make a decision. Maybe I come on and do a live one day and make you ladies all make my decisions for my pages with colours and things I stick on. Wouldn't that be fun? Probably not for me, but it'd be fun for you. Maybe we do that one day when I find some hours in my day. Okay, let's cut the butterfly wings out. So I'm basically going to cut, I only want the wings, so the body of the butterflies and these little small antennas. Not going to worry about cutting those out because they just look like way too much work, especially the antennae. Leslie, sometimes I hate making decisions on my pages because I go, I don't know which one I want, and I know if I ask my lovely daughter, I usually get a neither mum, they both look crap decision because she's quite blunt and to the point, which is quite fine, but or sometimes she goes, oh, maybe something else. But sometimes you're your only worst critics and go, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what goes. That's why I call it the procrastination stage. So you can be as fussy as you want when you're cutting out. This is the laminated one. Or the acetate. So if you buy the kit in the acetate, my acetate is quite thick. So you just have to use a pair of Tim Holtz scissors or quite a... good pair of scissors. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? But the laminating, I could get away with using my fussy scissors. So who's going to give laminating napkins a go? Oh, you go, ew, that's not for me. That's okay. I think I like it. I'll have to play around. This is the first time I've actually played with laminated napkins. That's the other thing with the tape course. I'm not getting a lot of time to play with my stuff. I've got to do work stuff, and I've got my retreat coming in. I don't want to know how many weeks. I've got a retreat coming up in September with 50, I think we've got 55 ladies coming or something like that. So, yeah, it's now serious time to get all that work done for that retreat. So, time for Mel is not in the books at the moment. Hi, Faye. How you going? Oh, you love the people. I love the stance she's got with her hands on her hips, and she's like got a lot of attitude. So that's going to go like that. So maybe... And cutting the wings apart actually allows you to position them a bit more than leaving them together, I found. Because I was having issues with trying to position them when they were together. So you can sort of spread them apart a bit more to... Where do I have them? Because that was the other issue I had. Where to put them? I think I had them up here. Yes, I did. I had them like that. And I don't think they were even, but that's right. Butterflies don't have even wings. Something like that. Now, let's work out whether we want these flowers. Actually, what might be a good idea is to trim off this hanging over paper. Let's get rid of all that for a minute. Trim off this paper that's hanging over my page so I know where my page starts and stops. Oh, you get a sneak peek of something else on the back of my page. So I find it easy to hang over the paper as opposed to try to cut it exactly the same... line it up exactly the same. Sorry. Oh, you love the laminating idea. Yeah, I can't take credit for it. I watched a YouTube video, but I can't remember the lady's name, but if you Google on YouTube laminating napkins, it comes up. But yeah, I thought it was a great idea. Something different. I'm always trying to think of different ways to use the napkins because I'm going, oh, I want to teach a class, but I like to include something different in my classes or a new technique or using a product in a different way. Let's get rid of all of that for the minute. So yeah, I try to come up with different stuff because I like to learn too. And I'm the kind of person, if I can use a product in a couple of different ways, it makes me happier than just using... Oh, this book's going to have to get turned up all the way to cut this. Oh, I'm doing this the most awkward way. Come on. And I had to cut down here. Why is this so awkward? I don't know. Oh, no, we're going to have to turn around and cut it that way. Sorry. If you get seasick, I'm trying to cut this paper off my book, and it's... If I don't have my book in a certain way, it's as awkward as anything. Or is it just me? Oh, now I've got paper everywhere. Vacuum after the class. Whoops, another sneak peek of another class. I actually have a box of kits that I've taught at my in-person classes I want to turn into online classes, like film a video of, and I've thought, right, I'll have a couple ready for this week to release. Nah, did it happen? Nope. Maybe by next month. The end of next month we might have a couple more released classes. I just need that thing called time. And taking on this tape course is just sucking my time away. Okay, now what did we have? We had a crowd of people over here. And we sort of want to bunch them together so you really can't see the three people. Because they're in a crowd. And our word goes back over here. They go up a little bit. Come on, up a little bit. That goes over there. In goes here. Stand out. Whoops. Let's make sure our words are around the right way before we stick them down, because that would help. Now, what I want to do is play with these flowers in a minute. Yes, this is how I normally craft. I have 6 million pieces before I stick it down. Move them around 20 times, and then I move it back to the original spot. Now, I just want to grab some double-sided tape and tape the wings to her so I can move her around in one piece instead of her wings slipping around. So she sort of has, well, she can be reversible, I suppose, if you want her facing this way. But I like her facing this way with a little bit of extra skirt over this way. It looks like she's kicking her skirt out. Now I want to double side tape this and stick it under here somehow. Just to grab it. I'm going to glue it properly in a minute, but I just want to tack the wings to, that's too much tape, Melinda. Tack the wings to the body so I can get the positioning of these flowers. I'm going to turn it over and sort of want them straight, maybe. Something like that. Come here. So even the laminated ones, they're a little bit more opaque, but they're sort of still... Did the other white backing come off this? Yeah, I'm sure it did. So they're a little bit more opaque, but they're sort of... You can actually, no, they're still a bit translucent. Look, you can see the stenciling. I don't know whether you picked that up on camera, but you can see... Oops, move back over here. You can see a bit of the stenciling through the wings. Okay, so she's going to stand on the mountain like that. Now, flowers. So I may have to trim a couple of these flowers down because I may have cut them too big, but I'd rather cut them too big than go, oh, I have to go make some new flowers because they're too small. So I sort of want a cluster of flowers there-ish. Cluster of flowers up here, so an orange, a pink and a blue. And usually I don't like to stick things in the gutter or across the book just because it sometimes gets, sorry, flip the in out of there. It gets a bit bulky, but these are made on copy paper, photocopy paper. I'd never stick like a cardstock embellishment. Well, I'd probably never say never, but I would rarely stick a cardstock embellishment or a thicker embellishment across the spine of your book because it will make just your book it'll make your book look like an alligator in the end. And then what have we got up here? So just wanting to sort of like, okay, let's move the blue flower. I was going to say with my flower clusters, I was just going to have a different flower on top, and then I realised those two were the same until I moved one of them. So just wanting not all the pink flowers on top. I don't know why, it just looked like a good idea in my head. And I don't think, oh yeah, I do have her positioned on the flowers. Why flowers? I don't know. The layout just needed something. And I thought the flowers were really cute. And I think I'm sort of happy with where they are. Is it time to get out the glue stick? Time to get out the glue and stick them down and stop moving the darn things around? Okay. Yes, it is. Let's grab some good old craft glue. Just going to use Couture Creations all-purpose art glue and start sticking. So the flowers I sort of only put, come on glue, I was using you yesterday to stick something on. So the flowers I'm not really going to glue like the entire flower. I don't mind if a little bit is not glued down on the edge. So I'm only sort of gluing the middle. You could double side tape them down. I like to glue them because we are gluing over gesso, we're gluing over matte medium. So sometimes elements need a little extra gluey thing. Bit more glue than like a glue stick or a double-sided tape, if that makes sense. Bit more of a stronger glue. That's a word. I don't know where words are today. God. What am I going to do? Be in the next month after I've done another month of my TAFE course. I won't be able to talk at all. Oh, I was up late trying to catch up last night. I had a week that I had lots of appointments and not much time, so I thought, right, I'll stay up Saturday night and do a bit more. Trying to do maths at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night is probably not ideal. That's all right. I knew I'd have a relaxing afternoon. This is quite relaxing sitting here and crafting, so that's good. So let's stick In the Crowd down while I'm down this part of the book. So you don't need to stick all parts of the letters down. I just put glue on. Come on, glue, come out. Glue on sort of the fattest bits of these letters in the Let's Stick Crowd. In. You have to move over. Move over. Should have stuck Crowd first. Okay, the intelligent thing would be stick the one that needs to go to the edge of the book. Hang on. It fit on my other book. Yes, it definitely fit on my other book. Why is it not fitting now? It is exactly the same word. Because it's just been. It's just been. Let's stick Crowd first. Then I'll fit the in between. And don't be a wally and do what I do. Cut all these words apart and then stick them in a different order. I've done that before. That's the only problem with words that you individually cut up. Or I sometimes cut up the phrase little black and white sticker letters and cut them up into pieces, stick them down my journal, and then forget what the phrase is and stick them in the inappropriate spots. I don't know. If there's a wrong way to do something on an art journal page, I will do it. If there's a hard way to do something on an art journal page, I would have done that. Because I'm a bit like that. I'll do it the hard way or the most complicated way. So I'm just sort of sticking down the things that are behind first. So the pink flower, and then it's the... No, it's not. It's a blue flower. So the people are on top. So just be mindful when you've got layers that you... Come on, glue. Might need a refill of my glue. Be mindful of what you need to stick down first and last. Because if you glue a flower down and then try to shove something under the flower, that doesn't work. Don't ask me how I know that. We're nearly finished today. Oh, we're nearly at the 2-hour mark too. Wow, God, time flies. Okay, so I've got flower stuck down. Let's stick this stand out up here down. And I'll position my girl stand out. Come on. I'm hoping that rain stopped outside, because I have something to do outside that I have to get done this afternoon if it's raining or not. And if it's raining, I'm not going to be happy if I'm outside in the rain. Oh, I don't know. So this black cardstock that we cut these words out of is 210, I believe, GSM cardstock. So it's a little thick, but it's not too thick. But I probably wouldn't put a lot of mixed media on these words in the black. If you want to put a lot of mixed media stuff on it, we can cut them out of white. So if you want to make your words a different colour, or you want to paint or ink them, let us know. We can then cut it out of a white 350 GSM cardstock, and then you can ink it and paint it and throw whatever you want at it. That's just not an option at the website at the moment, the white ones, because I just haven't cut a white version of it and stuck it on the website one day. I've got lots of jobs to do one day. How did I have... Oh, I sort of had them overlapping. Okay, let's just go with it. Let's just stick it. So I'm going to stick this one first, and then those three are going to sit on top. Come on. So I like this particular stencil. I've used it a few times in classes because she's standing with a pose like she's got lots of attitude. So I'm just going to make her stand on the tip of the mountain just so she's not floating. You sort of can't really see where the ground over here. You can't really see. Oh, I think she's over too far. There we go. That's a bit better. So I don't have her floating. So she's sort of standing on the bit of paper or the ground. So I like my things to be grounded and not sort of floating. And I want the next one just slightly lower, and then I want the next one sort of, yeah, I want her slightly lower. Come on, glue. Lower, and something like, I don't know, something like that. So this glue dries clear, so if you do goof it up, like I'm probably about to, it'll dry clear. No one's going to look that closely at my book and see all the dribbles of glue, are they? You're not, no. And then we want this one to be here. So you can sort of see the three people, but you sort of can't see the three people, if that makes sense. I don't know. I have weird concepts behind my pages, and they sort of, that's the, I don't know, story behind it. I don't know. Sometimes I try to overcomplicate things. So that side glued down. Oh, I forgot one thing. Oh yes, before I glue this one down. I've got everything glued down apart from this girl here. I'm going to do it before I glue it down because it'll be easier. So what I've done on, let me get my original art journal page back in here. So on these ones, I usually, when I stick stuff like this down, I'll go around it with a white pen like this side. But I deliberately didn't do it on this side because I didn't want there to be a definition between the people. I wanted it to be like a crowd of people. So this one in the black looked funny. So that's why I went and did the white around it. So we're going to do some white gel pen. Now I think our mountains need some shading, so we're going to do that too. So white gel pen is I think this one. Yep. Got some little cubby holes in front of where I film, sort of here with all my frequently used stuff. So it's working well at the moment. I don't have to go searching for stuff when I need it. So just grabbing a Posca pen, what is this one? A PC1MR, so it's the smallest Posca pen with the little metal tip. And I'm going to have to take my glasses off, and I'm probably going to get your head in the view, but you're just going to forgive me for that. Because I can't do this any other way, because I can't see. Oh god, it's even worse when I take my glasses off. So what I'm going to do is basically just outline her around, leaving sort of, I'll show you after this one, leaving a tiny bit of the black, so I'm coming in probably about 1 millimeter from the edge of the black. So I've just done her hand. I find this easier to do on a shape than stuck to my book, because you'll see how I'm moving the shape around. So my hand, so my hand is staying in this sort of position doing uppy downy lines. I'm not trying to do this with my hand and get myself all contorted. So I move the shape around to have my hand go in a natural flowy position. If I'd stuck this to my book, I'd be throwing my book around all different positions, and I thought it would be better to do it before I stuck my book on. Did I do that with my original page? No. We're going to do it the easy way today. That's what you get told in my classes. Don't do what I do what you're told, because often I do it the wrong way or the hard way, and then I teach you how to do it the easy way. So you could use a gel pen or a white paint pen. You could do it in silver, gold, whatever your little heart desires. And is mine all wiggly? Yes. Is it a bit patchy? Yes. Do I care? No. It's just adding a bit of detail and adding a bit of highlight to her. And usually I do this on, well, 90% of shapes I stick on my page that are black. Sometimes I don't. But most of the time I do. This pen is playing up. I found if you neglect your paint pens for too long and don't use them, they start to play up. I must admit I haven't used it in a month because I haven't crafted in a while. So this, oh come on pen, stop being a pain. Here we go, it's flying a bit more. Paint pens and I have issues. Being very careful because I just realised when I turn my heat tool on that there is plastic laminating pouches there. Let's throw this back in its pouch so it doesn't get lost on my desk. We're nearly finished. Isn't it always good when the page comes to the end? actually. There's a little bit on her head that's annoying me. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to fix it because I went too close to her head. Or am I going to make it look worse? Probably knowing me, I'll make it look worse. No, I think that looks alright. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now it looks a bit better. Okay. But what I'm going to do is, I didn't do it on the original one, but I am going to do it on this one. I'm just going to do a bit of shading on these mountains to give them a bit of depth, because it's just cut paper and it's looking a bit funny against everything else, because like we've faded in this paper and then we've got this paper standing out looking like a sore thumb. So I'm going to grab, yes, I'm going to do it with a Stabilo oil pencil, I was just thinking. So I'm going to grab a Stabilo oil pencil. If you've never heard of this, it's a water-soluble pencil. So Stabilo is the brand, ALL is the type of pencil. And it's water-soluble. It's good to do outlines of things. It's good to do a bit of shading. So I'm just going to take her off in a minute. I just want to sort of soften. So it's a water-soluble pencil, but you don't necessarily have to use it with water. So I'm going to decide in a minute. When you activate it with water, you get a like a black inky, or it turns into black ink. It's water-soluble. The Melinda words. I sometimes smudge it with my finger, and there's a bit of water on my finger, a bit of oiliness, whatever. Sometimes that will just smudge the pencil look off it, and that might be enough. Let's do this and put our person back. I just didn't like the edge, so I'm just going on the edge of the paper for these mountains, and then just giving it a smudge with my finger. If I wanted my finger to be a little bit more wet, I could grab a baby wipe and just like touch it to my fingers, and then my fingers will be slightly bit more wet or damp. But I don't want to introduce too much water like that and do that. I can wipe it off. So I don't want the shadow to be too pronounced, but I just didn't like how the edge of the paper looked. That's probably a me problem, and you probably thought it looked fine. Sometimes my head or my brain thinks things look not the way I want them to look, and it was standing out a bit too much for my liking. Like, my eye was going to that instead of the other things on the page, if that makes a bit more sense. I know sometimes it's hard how my brain works. Okie dokie. I think I am happy with that. And did I do... Yes, I did do that. One last step. Let's stick her on. So because we are sticking on this side, it's not so shiny, so it won't be particularly hard to stick on. So I'm actually going to peel those bits of double-sided tape off. That'll help it stick down. I am going to peel them off without peeling the wings off, and I'm going to wax some glue on it. So what I want to glue is I just want to glue where the person is. I don't want to glue out to where the wings are. So basically, the only glue I want to do is I want to put glue where the wings are, hiding under the body. So the edge of the wings don't get glue on it. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. So they're sort of the wings are free flowing on the page. Oh my God, I think tape is making me worse with words. I don't know what it is today. Oh, what a fun day. Come see Melinda live when she can't even talk. Oh God. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the body where the wings go to stick the wings down a bit more, and then I'm going to stick the body. Now I'm stuck to sticky tape. Oh, sticky tape to my fingers. So I'm just making sure that I stuck my fingers in the sticky tape again. Maybe don't take the sticky tape off, Melinda, until you're ready to have it off. So basically where the black cutout is touching the wings, I'm putting a bit of glue. But where the wing is not touching anything, it doesn't get glued. That's probably the better way of saying it. So, I'm going to glue, oh, come on, glue the person, a little bit here of the wings, a little bit here of the wings. That's that arm, the leg. Ah! Now I'm holding the other leg. A bit more glue. Oh, God. It's probably way too much glue. Now, It needs to go somewhere. Where? There. I'm just going to hold her for a little 30 seconds. We've got one more step to do. I'll put my lid on my glue and then we are finished. Oh, we're just over the 4 o'clock mark, so just over 2 hours. Now I'll keep that baby white. I've got stuff all over my fingers. Don't get glue where I don't want glue. Sorry, I had a couple of patches of glue on my girl I didn't want. Okay, so see how these wings are just floating around? That's sort of how I wanted it. Not that you sort of see it, but it helps the transparenciness of it. Oh, look at the big glob near her foot. Oh, God, why should I? I should never be let loose with glue. The problem is I was naughty and I've snipped the tip of my glue and now it comes out way too fast because it got clogged and I got annoyed with it. Then I got the scissors out. I don't recommend that because then it now comes out too fast. I have to buy another bottle and not get angry with my glue. Chop its head off. Okay, so the last thing I did is we had a black ink pad around somewhere. So I like to give my pages a border, whether it's something soft and subtle or whether it's bold and really bold. So a soft and subtle border is just adding a little bit of an inky border. I'm doing it in the black because we've got black here, black here, black here, black here. We've got a bit of black stamping down here. And, oh no, that's not glue. It looks like glue. No? So we're just going to do a tad of inking around the edge. So really, let's be good and get my really old ink pad. This is my inking ink pad. Let's do the right thing and not kill another ink pad. So if you're doing stuff like this, I probably suggest you find your oldest ink pad because sometimes you can see it on the edge of this ink pad, sort of mush up the ink pad, but this one is possibly 20-25 years old. I keep re-inking it and it's used in a lot of classes, but it's used for this purpose. So we're going to hold the ink pad at about a 45-degree angle and we're just going to brush it against the page. The flatter you hold it, say if you're at a 10% angle or 15% angle, the more surface of the ink pad is going to touch your page and the more big blobs you're going to get. Does that make sense? Yep, clear as mud, right? So it doesn't have to be an archival ink pad. It could be a really old, just shoddy, whatever ink pad that you just use for this purpose. And yes, you could get an ink blending tool and do it, but I just do it with the ink pad because that's easy. And this will actually take away any white bits of paper you missed or the white edge of the paper as well. So I had a bit of a white edge of paper there that prompted me to say that. So up here, sorry, my book's upside down. Up here I can see a tiny little bit of sort of white, and I think it's the white edge of the paper, or I've missed the book by like a 0.5 millimeter. The black ink will help to cover that up, this bit up. Oh, you can't even see. Sorry. This bit up here, you can see a little bit of white on the ink pad. So if we do that, we can cover it up. And sometimes you get bigger blobs here and there. I find if you do it more in the corner, you'll get the bigger blobs. If you keep your ink pad flat, you won't. And as you can see, I'm moving the book around and making you all giddy. But that's the best way to do it. Now we're back to an inked page. Oh, no, I think I've got this side to do. So my book gets moved around a lot. No, I've done that side. What are you doing, you goose? So my book gets sort of turned around a lot because it's just easier sometimes to move my book than move my hand, if that makes sense. Got stuff in front of me everywhere. So I think that is a done page. Just looking at my other page, I do have darker inking on this one, but this is the original. So you can see the slight difference with the, this is the napkins on acetate. Hang on, stick it. Oh! Hopefully that wasn't the camera. So this is the napkin on top of the acetate, and this is the napkin laminated. So it changes the colours a little, but not that much. I've lost a bit of the pink in here, but that's just how the laminate goes. So I think we're just about done for the day. So thank you very much for taking 2 hours out of your day and sitting and listening to me make a lot of errors and make an art journal page. So I hope you try this technique, whether it is sticking napkins onto acetate, whether it is finding your old laminator. Mine was very dusty in my cupboard. It hadn't had the life of day. And laminating some napkins to use. So I hope you give it a go because it's a fun technique. So this video will be available on replay on the Facebook page and also on YouTube as well, under the same business name. So we have Scrapbooking on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, on the website. I don't do TikTok. That just sounds like too much work. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, thanks for your beautiful comments. I'm just scrolling through your comments. Oh, thanks, saying it's a great page. It's beautiful. Thank you. Sometimes I wonder if my pages are a little weird or out there or different, but thank you for all the beautiful comments. I really like this one. I'll take a picture of this one and I will put it at the start of the video when I upload it to YouTube so you can see exactly what page you're going to make. Thank you very much, everyone. I've got to go. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Faye. It's Leslie again. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Bye for now. See you next time. Bye, Susan.